Good morning, Alan, and good morning to everyone else, and welcome to TARDIS Spider. I'm Terry, and today we're going to take a look at the Five Doctors. If you like this video, please subscribe, leave a comment, please like, and now let's look at the Five Doctors. The Five Doctors, a recipe for an anniversary. First, the Five Doctors will air in the United States before it airs in the UK. In the 1980s, Doctor Who is becoming a global fandom. The Five Doctors is a story that is pure unbridled fun. It does all that it needs to do, and at this point, it has been nearly a decade since Pertwee was last seen as the Doctor, and a full 10 years since Troughton and Hartnell. The epic 7 years of Tom Baker's Doctor seemed a wall between the past and Davidson's era as the Doctor. What are we going to need to bring the anniversary together? Well, let's start with the first Doctor. In 1963, there was no first Doctor. William Hartnell was playing the Doctor, the one and only. William Hartnell was in The Three Doctors, yet he was ill and limited to a seated speaking role from a remote location, and this was his final farewell. He is replaced as this character by William Hurdnall, and he does a credible job of this. A claim by some is that the short clip of Hartnell undermines his performance. This assumes that Hurdnall was meant to fool anyone. Hurdnall's performance, as is David Bradley's today, are tributes to the original Doctor. A companion, Susan Foreman. Along with the first Doctor, we have Susan. She is the only companion we will not see be summoned. She simply shows up and at once realizes it's Gallifrey and the Death Zone. A monster, the Daleks. A lone Dalek appears in one scene. It is destroyed and left behind, letting the audience know early how and why this story is being told. It is to remember. Next, Patrick Troughton. All of the Doctors suffer in a reunion story simply because they go from being the lead actor to being part of an ensemble. Only Hartnell's Doctor had to deal with this, and only very early in the series. Yet Troughton is uniquely suited for this, as his Doctor always controlled events from the margins. Now this led to an odd effect. Troughton is in all of the three return stories, and his is the most compelling and likable characterization. The mischievous twinkle of this Doctor still exists, so watching him in any of the three stories serves as a gateway to his era. A companion, Brigadier Leftwich Stewart. It is impossible not to notice that the companion pairings are wrong. This is a logistical problem, centering on Tom Baker not returning and Fraser Hines being unavailable. Courtney is a pure professional, making it work, yet because of the decision to delay the big meeting of the Doctors, it means there is no time for a key scene when the Brigadier and Pertwee reunite. So one of the most iconic pairings in series history ends up as an exchange of two sentences before Pertwee blows off the Brigadier to translate an inscription, reminding us that this is a story about remembering, not a story in itself. A monster, a Yeti. We get a Yeti with no clue or idea how it is animated on Gallifrey by the Great Intelligence. Some ghost, Jamie and Zoe. A big continuity error here. Yet for one short scene, we get a proper reunion, the core cast from the best preserved season of the Troughton era. The cruelty is that they are just ghosts, a trick of the mind of Rassilon. Some John Pertwee. The Doctor most suited for this style of reunion is the one least served by the script. There is no Pertwee near-death scene, no Venusian Aikido, and no unit. He even has been denied his proper costume. I do not like that cape. We must also point out that no theory of continuity can explain Pertwee's hair. A brief encounter with the Master, the appearance of Bessie, and a quick polarity reversal are all that are plundered from the Pertwee era. But the transition from action hero to an old man kidnapped while on a drive captures how the living doctors are brought back in their parts, as they are brought back as if they were in new tricks. His companion, Sarah Jane Smith. There is no scene that exemplifies the, quote, classic companion quite like Liz Sladen throwing herself down a small embankment and screaming for dear life. A car. Bessie, there is no symbol of the action hero doctor that shines brighter than Bessie. More Ghost. Liz Shaw and Mike Yates. An odd reprise of the second Doctor's Jamie and Zoe scene. A monster. The Cybermen. Now, the Cybermen is an interesting choice, as Pertwee is the only classic Doctor who did not have a Cyberman story. By most standards, this is a trivia question. It is as if Doctor Who had a flaw with the third Doctor having never been faced the Cybermen. So it's as if a checklist has been filled. Courtney, check. Daleks, check. Cybermen, check. Next. A dash of Tom Baker. Baker had only been out of the role for 2 years, and it's understandable why he was not eager to return. They will use a scene from the unfinished Shada for Tom Baker and Lalla Ward's return, and J&T would only use K9, and only then a cameo, as it was his attempt to ignore this era of the show. And finally, Peter Davison as the Fifth Doctor. Davison is magnificent here, and even if he doesn't get paired with Tom Baker, he more than shows he belongs in this company. He is helped by Baker not doing the special, so accordingly he will get the Gallifrey plot instead of being one of the Tower Doctors. This makes him the lead, the one with a plot unlike the others. Watch his scenes with Hurdnall, recognizing that in this story he's not the real main attraction, while simultaneously putting his stamp on things. Troughton-like, he is on the edges of a scene, managing to provide a commentary on his earlier selves without upstaging them. A villain, Anthony Ainley as the Master. Here he is played unapologetically as a buffoon. The Brigadier decking him is the perfect final scene for this Master. A companion, Tegan Travanka. One interesting idea this story has is the pairing of Tegan with the First Doctor. Yet the First Doctor was with strong-willed characters. Tegan has nothing on Barbara. She's just louder. Another companion, Vislor Turlough. Turlough is in this story, though you would hardly know it. A writer, Terrance Dicks. Terrance Dicks takes all of these pieces and uses his skill to create not a story, but an homage to a beloved franchise built on remembering all we love about it. I think he did his job. Enjoy the Five Doctors. Remember and celebrate its past, yet look forward to what is to come in Doctor Who. So enjoy the Five Doctors. Enjoy your journey through time and space. Love your friends and love your family. And please never ever forget, a child cannot have a favorite book if they do not have one. Give a child a book today.